What's the deal? It's your boy J Mike, Mr. Athletic over everything for no hobbies, only obsessions. And we are here today. Just got a mail day in, and I wanted to have a little discussion about some of the stuff that's going on in my hobby collection and some of my thoughts on, some of the conversations that are being had right now. Grill talks, how much is a grill, how we actually collect, some of the things that I'm gonna talk about today. But I also kind of want to talk about how you have to redefine how you collect every so often. And I was mentioning to uh, Double D Sports Cards that Dylan made a comment was saying that he should be the face of the hobby, and mostly just because of how he views the cards. He really enjoys it. You can see the passion, and we're almost in the same age group. So I understand the cards that he fell in love with and stuff like that, and some of his personal thoughts. I truly understand. You know what I'm saying? But I ever since I started watching his page, I I it completely changed how I view a card. Like as soon as I get a card now, I get it and I instantly look to see if the card is centered now. Whereas before I would go by the grade of the card. And I never really put too much to it, but you start looking at your cards that are graded, and even if you look at some of the grades of some of these cards, and you're like, how did this card get a 10? How did this get a 6? And I have an example of one of those kind of cards here today. But so once I started looking at how he viewed cards, it changed how I started buying cards. And even when you see a card you want, you put a bid in for it, and next thing you know, I'm bidding on cards, going back and forth, and I'm like, I never even looked at the card. That excuse me. Then I get the card in the mail, and I'm not happy with it. So now that I take a better look at the cards that I'm buying, I've noticed that my spending goes down. Just because I'm not going to buy a bunch of cards I don't really want. You know what I'm saying? And also, I have to tighten up on the things that I buy. I have a bunch of modern stuff that I can get rid of because I want to consolidate, but I want to buy legendary cards. If you can make out the cards behind me, they're legendary cards, Grail cards. And I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But I'm gonna show you guys some of the stuff that I just purchased recently. This came in over the last couple of days, just so you can see. Some of the stuff I bought was good, and a lot of it was I shouldn't have purchased. But let's see what we got here. First off, we bought Wolverine, Marvel 1990 Marvel Universe Wolverine. Um, Now this is like takes me back to what I was saying. I thought this was a PSA 8. I mean a PSA 9. I had no idea it was an 8 until it came in the mail because I was looking at how much they were going for, and I was watching the auctions, and they had a bunch of these cards listed. It was like 7 or 8 in a row, and they were all 9. So I assumed this was a 9, and come find out it was an 8. I don't want this card. I'm actually going to send it back because they messed up my um, order. Well, next up, now this card here is like one of my favorite issues, and the Punisher is the one comic book that I did buy when I was a kid in the '90s or the early '90s. But the problem is Punisher books aren't really worth much, so I have a bunch of them. They're really not worth anything. But um, this, I paid top of comp or whatever. So if I would have checked the comps on these, I would have just bought tens, or I would have made better deals on getting them, from people who are selling them. Next up, now this was one of the mistakes, but I'm not gonna go to that one. So I bought a couple of slabs, and these were pretty cheap. This is a Prism Draft, Cole Anthony, PSA 10 silver. Uh, I think it was $6 or $7. You can't go wrong with that. He plays decent, averages you know 15 points a game. He just got a new contract, so this wasn't a bad deal. But this is one of the cars that I'm not buying anymore. I'm not buying stuff like this. not him. He's had a couple years in the league, and he's not a star. So why am I buying these kind of cards? Not doing that anymore. All right, now this card here, Benedict Mathurin. I've been getting his cards like going crazy, right? Now, I thought this was a 9, but it's a 6. But it's a 12 out of 19 serial number card. But I looked this card over and I don't see anything wrong with it. So this is one of those kind of cards that have me thinking like, why would I do my collecting based on what a company says a grade is? That doesn't determine my grail. Like if you get a Ricky Henderson rookie card and let's say it's a 7, right? Does that make it less of a grail than a PSA 10? When that 7 could come back a 7, I could send it back into PSA and it's possibly can get a 9. It's too arbitrary, you know what I'm saying? But this card here was the actual mistake. Now this was a prop steam auction, and they had this card listed as a Anthony Edwards card. Now to be honest with you, I saw Anthony Edwards raw silver. I just put in a bid for it. I wasn't even paying attention that it wasn't even an Anthony Edwards card. Excuse me. That was in the picture, but all the text and everything read that it was a Anthony Edwards card. Then when it didn't, I put in like a $70 max bid and it sold for $6. I was like, oh shit, I got lucky. Then come find out that it was a Desmond Bain card in the picture. So they're not doing anything. They said they're not going to give me the card that I thought I was bidding on. I just send it back and get my $6 back. But it may just be best I just keep it. Guy's averaging 27 points a game for the year. He's doing well. It's worth $15. You know what I'm saying? Now, next up, we have some more of the Prism Monopoly golds. Now, the Prism Monopoly stuff, I believe I'm going to keep buying. I enjoy buying these cards, and I'm trying to complete the gold money shimmer set. I've already done the black icon set and the base set, but the silver, the gold is what I'm going for now. Now, I just recently purchased the Jeremy Sokan 10, but I had an opportunity to get another one raw, so I think this is like number 5 or 6. My deal with him is that he may be like, they have him playing point guard right now. If he learns to play point guard and plays with Wemby well, he can wind up being a very good player, a Draymond Green type player with more athleticism. But it's going kind of bad right now. But I got a couple of bucks invested in him. Hopefully, he improves over time. And then we got the Jaden Ivey card. Now, most of these gold cards are in excellent condition, especially if you get the Syrian right on them. They're typically in good condition, but this card in particular has some issues on the back that I didn't see, and one of the corners are a little dinged up. So, I didn't do too well with this particular purchase. And last but not least, on this particular run, is a card that cards I am getting. This is, I believe, a 1970 Topps playing card, O.J. Simpson. I'm doing his entire run. If you look behind me, I have a bunch of his cards, and I have some more on the way. I'm doing his whole player run. I got into collecting players that I could do their entire runs, and maybe some of their cards are undervalued or underrated. So I chose Gale Sayers, and I chose O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson's card should be worth 10 times what they're worth, but he had the little killer and the little kill situation. So his cards are depressed, but O.J. Simpson has been on It Is What It Is, which is one of the more popular podcasts for sports and whatnot, and he's done very well on there, and people are liking him. So I see a resurgence maybe coming for him. So I chose I chose O.J. Simpson and I chose Gale Sayers as the two football players that I was going to try to collect their entire runs. And also, I could do Jerry Rice, I could do Joe Montana, because I want to get most of the tops cards and stuff like that. And that'll be kind of fun to do. I'm not really trying to do the complete runs with some of these players that have 3,000 cards. I'm not trying to go that route. Jose Canseco is my guy. You can see some of the cards I have up top, but I have a shitload of Jose Canseco and Terrell Owens, as you can see up there as well. So those are people that I may wind up doing runs with down the line. But right now, I'm just trying to refocus what I got going on. But something I wanted to talk about. I was looking at Cajun Cardboard. He made a comment like he's like there are different extremes of collecting, right? You have the Dylan Double D vintage sports cards, and the way he wants to touch the cards, hold the cards, put the cards in different arrangements, and have that physical feel. Then you have Cajun Cardboard, who's one of the guys who's more of a corporate collector. Big money, like stupid money. Uh, they're doing whale collection stuff. They're not even collecting rookie cards. They're going after $100,000 Jordan rubies and all this kind of stuff, right? And he doesn't touch his cards. He sends his cards to a vault, so he looks at pictures, and it's kind of different. You know what I'm saying? But he had said something, and it stuck with me, and I was like, damn. They asked him. They said, "What is a grail?" Right? And he's like, basically, you have to spend 20. A grail should be $25,000, right? Now that's some bullshit, right? But it's not bullshit to him. He's playing with a different bankroll. But to a regular person or a regular collector, you're gonna have people who say, "Hey, getting a Joe Montana rookie card is their grail, right?" Or a Jerry Rice is their grail. If you look behind me, you got to have a Ozzie Smith rookie, you got a Mean Joe Green rookie, you got a SGC 9, Ken Griffey, you got a Larry Zonka, like OPC, Tony Gwynn rookie card. Those are grail cards to me. Now they may not be thousands of dollars, shit. They might not be $100, right? But what you have to think about is that I've been watching these videos over the last couple of weeks, and people will send cards in, fresh cards to PSA, and they'll come back sixes, sevens. Then they'll crack them, send them back to PSA, and get a 10. I'd be damned if I let a company make me feel a way about a card that I consider a grail based on the number. So if I have a Jerry Rice PSA 8, but my grail is a 10, that doesn't make sense to me. I think what you should do first is accumulate the card. Get the cards that you want, that you desire, and then you level up, if anything. You know what I'm saying? If you start at a Jerry Rice at a 5 and you want to finishing at a 9, I think that's pretty good, but you have to get the card to get in the game. Establish a foundation first. And if you do that, that would allow you to grow your collection. But people who bought their way in, if you hadn't been in the hobby over the last 20, 30 years, you see the cars going, and you got a shitload of money. You start in 2019, 2018 even, and you just buy up shit. It's not respected by most people. And I also come from the sneaker community, and you see some of these guys who have all this money, they're rich rappers and stuff. They weren't waiting in line to get shoes. They didn't know the owners of the stores. They didn't move and shake in circles. And you see them with all these shoes. Real sneakerheads don't respect it. It's just that you have money. So it's like you can't get caught up in it. Like, start your collection, do your collection based on where you are. Like, look, I make a good living as a personal trainer, professional power lifter, clothing designer, and I have a website, athleticovereverything.com. I'm also I have my own trading card I've made money on. So there are things I could just buy, but I want to earn it. You know what I'm saying? Like if I sell 10 of my trading cards, so if you go and cop my trading card, you know what I'm saying? If I'm able to sell a few of my cards, I'll then turn around and maybe splurge and buy a bigger card with the proceeds that came from my card. Or some of these newer cards, if let's say for instance I'm able to flip this, let's say he goes on a tear, I'm able to sell this for 20 bucks, make a couple of dollars, I could put that towards a Monty Irvin card that I want. You know what I'm saying? So it's different ways to do the collecting. I just think you can't get caught up in what other people are doing. This is a very addictive. I don't consider it a hobby so much. I consider it a passion, an obsession, and it's very addictive. And what you start catching yourself doing is buying stuff that you don't really want to buy. So what I've had to do now, this week and this week specifically, is truly narrow down what I'm going after. I can't go after everything. So, I'm going after Monty Irvin real hard right now. Vintage for the most part, 50s, 60s, even 70s a little bit. But that's where I'm at. I'm not going to, I do these little side missions where I'm getting Cole Anthony cards and stuff like that I really don't even want. I can't do that. I have to be fixated on what I want so I can achieve it. But I just wanted to say that. But, I've been watching a bunch of videos and just watching how people collect, and you can learn a lot from people. Midlife cards. He's also changed how I've view cards and how I collect. You know what I'm saying? So I've watched these people and just see their styles. Getting, you might have to buy two. Like Monty Irvin. I don't want to spend 300 for his rookie card right now at a PSA 4 or a 5. So I may have to get in with a 2, and a 2 might cost you what, $150, $200, but I'm gonna make sure that motherfucker centered. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't doing that before. So I'm thankful for Dylan. His passion for how he collects. That is what I look at. Like when I see someone wanting to actually collect and know the sport, know what position Mickey Mantle played. You ask a lot of these kids, they say Mickey Mantle's my favorite player, and you ask them, it's like, what side does he hit from? And they, whatever answer they tell you, if they don't say switch hitter, they don't know. What's his number? They don't know. About Robbie Alomar? No, they don't know. They don't know anything. So it's kind of weird sometimes. But that's kind of the old man in me sometimes that comes out. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this some of my pickups. But you're gonna see mostly vintage pickups for me. I will be doing a lot of selling of some of my newer stuff. Hopefully some of the new people that I chose to invest in wind up doing pretty well. I got a bunch of Chet Holmgren black icons from the Prism Monopoly. I have all the icon guys in abundance. So if anybody's looking for some black icons, I have hundreds of them. So until next time, athletic over everything, no hobbies, only obsessions. Go to my website, athletikovereverything.com, to pick up my trading card and also my apparel. I do it myself. I have embroidery machines. I taught myself. It's pretty dope. But until next time, later.